Who knows what I want to do? Who knows what anyone wants to do? How can you be sure about something like that? Isn't it all a question of brain chemistry? Signals going back and forth? Electrical energy in the cortex? How do you know whether something is really what you want to do, or just some kind of nerve impulse in the brain? Some minor little activity takes place somewhere in this unimportant place in one area of the brain hemispheres, and suddenly I want to go to Montana, or I don't want to go to Montana. How do I know I really want to go, and it isn't just some neurons firing or something? One of the main issues I've heard people describe the flow of thoughts and feelings is by describing it in a linear way. A thought leads to an emotion, which leads to a thought, which leads to an emotion. You get the point. This is incomplete. This linearity can happen, of course, but can also work differently. Thoughts and emotions can very easily occupy the same space. They can work simultaneously with motivators behind motivators behind motivators, producing the thoughts and emotions that exist simultaneously in this precise moment. You watching this video right now in this exact moment is the combination of thoughts and emotions working together to have you watch this video. Hi everyone. Very often in the media, thoughts and emotions are pitted against each other in an epic clash. People who are thoughtful are usually seen as more logical, rational, and or wise, who tell people to slow down and consider the possibilities.
The power of this weapon, any weapon, comes from here. But only when tempered by this. By the discipline, the self-control of the one who wields it. That is where the true strength of a warrior lies.
Whereas people who are emotional are seen as spontaneous, impulsive, and sometimes downright stupid because they simply jump in without taking other possibilities into consideration, often doing a ton of damage in their wake. Is this the whole story, though? In the early 1980s, a neuroscientist named Antonio Damasio was dealing with a patient who simply goes by Elliot. Elliot had a brain tumor in the VMPFC of his brain, or the ventromedial prefrontal cortex. This area of the brain helps regulate emotional stability, decision-making, and social norms and customs. So, to save his life, they took it out. This didn't affect his speech, intellect, or memory. He became almost like a robot, emotionless. Finally, maybe he had officially achieved homeostasis. Maybe without his ability to feel, he could finally let rationality and logic control him and optimize his efficiency beyond comparison. Without those pesky emotions, there would be nothing that could slow him down. But that's not what would happen. Quite the opposite. Without the emotional part of his brain, Elliot couldn't decide anything. During lunch, it would take him hours to decide what to eat. He had to analyze and cross-examine multiple different restaurants by literally driving to each location, take into account their prices, and even consider their dining area and seating arrangement before he could formally make a decision. His life fell apart. He lost his job. He lost his family, and he was entirely apathetic about it. What had happened? His story upended my entire understanding of how thoughts and emotions work together. His story and many others highlight that maybe thoughts and emotions are more intertwined than they seem. Who are we without emotions? Who are we without thoughts? And lastly, who are we if they don't work together? As I dive into this flow, I don't plan on gaining a master's degree to explain this information. But even having a basic understanding of how this system works has helped me immensely in understanding how I think and why I do things. And from understanding this, we then have a clearer idea into why we do what we do and why we believe what we believe. So, let's go deeper. Let's dive in together into how I see the flow of thoughts and feelings. and how they work together.